I'll give you an idea about a little bit how OCD I am, but anyway. So I've had a Garmin running watch since Sue got it for me in Christmas of 2022. So I've worn it to run. It tells me my mileage. The main thing I wanted was a GPS watch to tell me how far I run. So therefore I can just go pick some random roads and still know how much I run. And occasionally I get these notices that I earned a badge, right? I earned a badge, did this or did that. Didn't really pay any attention to any of that. And then my brother, the one in Texas, sent me a connection request through the Garmin thing, and he showed me all these different challenges they have. You can do steps, walking miles, running miles, and all this stuff. And so it kind of got me motivated to run through the winter. Normally during the winter, I take a lot of time off. If it's too windy and cold, if wind chill is single digits, I always thought that was stupid. Then as I got older, single digits in the teens was stupid, and then it's like if it's below freezing, it's stupid. You know how cold it was this winter. These stupid challenges had me running. It was 2-degree wind chill. And I was out there running, getting my runs in, because I want to win badges that mean nothing. I want to earn points that mean nothing. But it kept me motivated to the point I'm actually, because when I take time off during the winter, I get winter chunky, right? I call it holiday weight, right? I'm actually 13 pounds below my normal holiday winter weight. So I didn't put my bear hibernation weight on during the winter because of all these stupid I'm signed up for 9 for the month of March. I'm like, I can do if I walk my dog and wear my watch, I can get all the walking ones. If I do my runs, I can get all the running ones. They have breathing. I told you about this one to some of my guys in my Sunday school class. They have a thing about into the night, doing something between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. I don't know about you guys, that's when I sleep. But when Sue was away 2 weeks ago, I had to stay with the dog in the room, and I knew I had to get up early to walk the dog, so I woke up at like 3:30. I'm like, what can I do at 3:30 to earn this stupid 10 to 4 a.m. badge? And I said, breath work. What's breath work? I said, I can breathe. I can do this. So I did the breath work, and it's basically breathing in and breathing out. I finished that. I got that stupid night badge, and I got a breathing badge. I'm like, how many of these breathing badges are there? I can get 5. If I do up to 200 breathing exercises, I can get 5 badges. So now I do the breathing while I read my email. I'm OCD, but my motivation is goals that I can complete. I have found that that's my motivation. If there's something I can complete to check off my checklist, that's one thing I've struggled with since I've been in ministry. Ministry never ends. It's a circle. As soon as this service is over, I'm planning for the one next week. So it's kind of like I've always struggled with that. So then what I've realized, doing eggs. When I get all the orders done on a Monday, I did something. I accomplished the goal. I feel excited. So this whole passage today, or the whole thought process is, have you figured out what is your motivation in life? What motivates you? What makes you get up? I now have to walk the dog between 4 and 7 a.m. every day so I can get the rise and grind badge. If you do that 7 days in a row, you get a badge. And you can get up to 250 of them. I've done it 3 straight weeks. The dog walked at 5 o'clock this morning. He didn't want to get up, but he got up. So my question is, what are the different things that motivate you? There are a lot of types of motivations, and maybe I'll mention a couple that ring true for you. But out there are a lot of different. If you have career goals, some of those motivations may be financial. What do you need to do to get pay raises? Some may be power. What can I do to have more authority or have people under me? If you have athletic goals, some of those motivations may be self-improvement. You know, hey, that whole couch to 5K movement that was going on, that's about self-improvement. Some may be about spoils of victory. Some people train because they want to beat or win. There's a guy I pass quite often running. We tend to always go in opposite directions. He's much younger because I am old, and he's very fast. And I try to say hi to everybody. I say hi to the dogs. I say hi to everybody. This guy does not speak. I wave, he doesn't acknowledge my existence as he zooms right by. And I assume he's training hard to try to win races. I don't know how friendly I was when I was a very competitive runner. Very much now I'm very social. And actually this getting in shape through the winter got me so motivated I signed up for 2 races this year. Woohoo. Not what I would call races, 2 events, because I don't try to outrun anybody. Because it's hard to brag about outrunning 60-year-olds. And since that's the age group I'm in, I'm like, hey, I beat all the other 60-year-olds today. Not something really motivational. So there are athletic goals. You may have educational goals and motivations. It may be knowledge or intrigue. We were talking in Sunday school about sometimes it's about getting the different letters after your name. If you get a PhD or a doctorate in ministry, it does increase your salary. And I had told the whole idea about knowledge. I know a pastor friend of mine who took 2 doctorate courses, took all the courses, never wrote a thesis. I said, dude, you're not going to get your doctorate. He goes, I don't care about the doctorate. I just wanted the classes. I wanted the education. I wanted the knowledge. That's what he loved. He loved the knowledge, could care less about the alphabet after his name or before his name. So that's why I put about knowledge or intrigue. You may be artistic, and your motivations may be creating something memorable or something that touches the innermost feelings of people. Other motivations could be as simple as just survival, making it through the day, not getting in trouble. How many of you have had that motivation? My whole goal is not to get in trouble today. Right? So there's different, to truly understand people though and what they are trying to accomplish, you really need to find out what are their motivations. If you've ever worked with a group of people or overseen a group of people, then you know you need to figure out what motivates each person. One type of motivation does not work for everyone. So we're going to look at a passage today that kind of has a disturbing ending. If you did the teaser, you're supposed to read the whole chapter. But it all came about because some people had the wrong motivation. And I'm also hoping that today you were able, if you don't already know, you'll be able to figure out what motivates you. So Numbers chapter 16, verses 4 through 7. Numbers chapter 16, verses 4 through 7. When Moses heard this, he fell face down. Then he said to Korah and all his followers, in the morning the Lord will show who belongs to him and who is holy, and he will have that person come near him. The man he chooses, he will cause to come near him. You, Korah, and all your followers are going to do this. Take censers, and tomorrow put burning coals and incense in them before the Lord. The man the Lord chooses will be the one who is holy. You Levites have gone too far. Now this passage is when the Israelites are wandering in the desert. If you remember, Moses had led them out of Egypt. Pharaoh's army was swallowed up by the Red Sea. We know that the journey through the desert, the Israelites complained quite a bit during that 40-year trek through the desert. The people complained about lack of food and said, hey, when we were slaves in Egypt, we had plenty of food. It was a land of milk and honey. They complained about not arriving at the promised land that Moses had told them about. They complained about walking around and not getting anywhere. Now, of course, all of their complaining is why they're not getting into the promised land, but that's another story. But if you've ever been on a trip, I didn't make the first service do this, but I'm going to make you do this. If you've ever been on a trip and things didn't go well, who does everyone seem to blame? They normally turn to the leader or the trip planner? How many of you have ever done that? You turned to the person who planned the trip and said, man, you picked a great time to come to the Carolinas. Didn't you know this is hurricane season? Why would you take a cruise when you know the shops are going to be closed? Or why are you going out of season? Nothing's open. No one? No one says that, huh? You're all just perfect people, all right? Or most of you say, I'm the planner. Hey, I know why we go out of season. I know exactly why I go out of season. Kids are in school. Prices cost less. And my wife and I don't handle the heat as much, so it's easier to go to the beach in April or October than it is in the middle of July. So if you've ever said that, if you don't want to raise a hand, but if you've ever done that, you're having your own little desert wandering experience when you were reacting that way. So this is what we are starting to see here about the people getting upset, but we're going to notice that their motive is a little different. Korah, Dathan, and Abiram became insolent. They rose up against Moses and Aaron. Now, we know who Moses is. He led them out. If you didn't know, Aaron is his brother, and Aaron was a priest. Aaron was the good talker. If you remember, Moses tried to talk God out of sending him, and he says, hey, I don't speak well. Something, Moses may have had a lisp or something. And then he said, hey, take Aaron. Aaron's a good storyteller. He can do the speaking, but the people will follow you. And Korah and Dathan and Abiram, they were a member of the Levites. Now, if you remember, there was 12 tribes. Now, the Levites, they were the tribe in charge of the temple. And I'll go into that a little bit here in a second. But they also had, besides those three, they had 250 other Israelite men who were well-known community leaders who were a member of a council that oversaw the tribe of the nation of Israel. And they all came as a group, 250 as a group to oppose Moses and Aaron. Now, Aaron being the priest, he was the religious leader of the Israelites. His sons were also priests. And the Levites were the tribe responsible for maintaining the temple. They were the ones that carried the temple whenever it needed to be moved. They performed all the sacrifices. They were doing all the regular religious duties that were required for worship. So you had Moses who led them out. You have Aaron the priest and his sons of the priesthood. Then you had the Levites who did all the religious duties. All the other tribes had to give tithe to the nation of Israel, which went to the temple, which the Levites received. The Levites did the offering, but they also lived off the rest of the tithe. So the Levites were kind of set apart also. All the other tribes tithed, but the Levites lived off what the others gave. Now we also must remember that all these people came out of Egypt. So before they fled Egypt, their example of religious behavior, or what they saw on a normal basis, was that of the power of the Egyptian priesthood. And the Egyptian priesthood was very wealthy, very tied into political power. So they were the ones kind of in charge, running a lot of things in Egypt. So Korah wanted that power and wealth for himself. And he presumed that Moses and Aaron and his sons were trying to make the Israelite priesthood the same type of political power and machine that they had seen in the Egyptian priesthood. But we know from reading that Moses didn't have any type of ambition like that. Moses just wanted to serve God to the best of his ability. So this is where we kind of see Korah's motivation was about power and control, and made him see things that really wasn't happening. His mind was playing tricks on him, and he decided he wanted to overthrow Moses and Aaron. So we know that wasn't Moses' mentality. It wasn't what he was looking to do. It wasn't what Aaron was doing. So there was like no visual evidence that Korah and them saw that Moses and Aaron was trying to recreate the Egyptian priesthood and their power. But this is something that got in Korah's head. And it kind of blinded him. How many of you have ever seen a situation where someone got something in their head that you were in the same room and did not see, or you did not get? Right? They're like, they're trying to do this to me, they're trying to do that. I'm like, I don't know, I didn't see that. Where did you pick up on that? Sometimes that's where Satan messes with people's insecurities. I've had people say to me, I know everyone in the church is talking about me. I said, really? I said, that's a pretty good ego you have, that you think nobody else has anything better to do than talk about you. But their mind's playing trick that people are talking about them or doing this or doing that. And I always found it interesting because I tell people, I say, unless you're in the room, you're probably not on my mind. So the fact that you think we're all in here discussing or talking about this or about that, but you know how that kind of stuff happens. That's why I always talk about when people hear what I didn't say. It happens all the time when people hear pastors. They hear something that was never said, but their mind filled in the sentences. Or I always like it when people said, well, I know that sermon was directed to me. No, it wasn't. If the Holy Spirit's convicting you, that's telling you need to make some type of change. Or Satan is trying to make you feel insecure and saying, he's talking about you, you need to get out of here. That's the mind playing tricks. And that happens way too often. We see that happening here with Korah. He sees this idea of Moses and Aaron